brand new project, almost. I used it for a different tutorial, but brand new project. Let's hit Control R. That's going to bring in our FBX. I have auto recompile off, so I have to hit Control R. I prefer it that way. Gives me the control. So if I go into models, I'll see that my spike ball is here. So let's just drag it in to this project. So here's our spike ball. Pretty cool. Now we're going to go and we're going to apply color to every part of the spike ball. So I'm using Amplify Shader. So I'm going to say Window, Amplify Shader, Open Canvas. And we're going to get this blank canvas here. I'm just going to drag it down to here so you can see everything at once. We're going to hit Save right away. And it's going to ask us where we want to save it. We're going to say spikeball.shader is what we're going to call it. I'm just going to say save it under a folder called shaders. Save. And give it a sec. Okay, so we're ready to start editing the shader. But first, we are going to go into our materials folder. I'm going to create a new material called, you guessed it, spike ball. We're just going to drag it over here. It's that nice Unity default white. And we're going to select spike ball from which shader we want it to use. So spike ball, easy. And then what I like to do is I like to close this window and I like to open it from right from this material instead. And what that's going to do is it's going to allow any kind of changes, public changes, like property changes that are also available in the inspector once we create them. It's going to allow those to show us the changes in real time as we change those values. So right on this material. So to create this, we want to create a surface shader, and we just want it to be standard because, like I said, we're going to be using metallic and smoothness. And if you want to go crazy, you can also import a texture for the normal map. But for the albedo, we're just going to strictly stick with 3 colors. Let's start by making those colors. So color. So we got 1. Let's just duplicate this 3 times, or duplicate it twice. Let's call this, let's give this a property, and let's call it ball. Let's give this a property. Let's call it slot. And let's give this a property, and we'll call it spike. Okay, so those are our 3 colors. We're not going to do anything with these quite yet. So let's just put them out here. Now, back in Maya, you can see that we need to separate our quadrant, right? Oh shit, did I mess this one up? I did. Damn. This actually has to be a little further over. Mistakes are good. Gotta learn from them, right? Let's grab all these. Let's just make them a little smaller and push them over here a little further. Oops, I keep pushing save, and I don't want to save this yet. So grab the spike ball, send to Unity. Gonna do this again. Tutorials, assets, models, spike ball. Okay, so now we're set up. So the first thing we're going to want to do is we're going to want to separate those quadrants. And I'll show you a really easy way to doing that. So we're going to say, just type in UV here. We're going to get textures, coordinates, UV, and so side to side is U and up and down is V. Pretty simple. So we need one of each. So let's grab the V first. And what we're going to do with the V is we're going to floor it. But first, we're going to add to it. And I'll explain what I'm doing here. So let's give it a float. So the float's going to be 0.5. So what's happening is V is a value range from 0 to 1. So it goes up, right? By adding 0.5 to it, what we're doing is we're pushing that into 0.5 and 1.5, right? As opposed to 0 and 1. 0.5 and 1.5. And then we're going to take that value and we're going to floor it. So as you can see, what happens here is we have this 0.5 and this 1.5. We're going to floor both of those. So what happens is they both get shot back down. Everything that was in the 0.5 to 1 range gets flattened to 0, and everything that was in the 1 to 1.5 range gets flattened to 1. So we get this nice hard line right in the middle of our UV space. Okay, and with that, we are going to do the same thing, but with the U. So we're going to say add, we're going to say floor, and we're going to grab the U and the floor, and we can plug this same float into here, and we're going to get this. So you see how that works? It's pretty simple. So now what we can do is we can multiply this by this, and we're going to get the top right. The top right is going to be the only thing that's visible. And in our top right is the slot, right? Because this is kind of the, I'll show you, UV shell. This is the UV shell that goes right around here. So we're going to grab our slot. Let's just separate these a bit. Okay, so this is our slot. We're going to say multiply by this. And if we change the color, we'll see that, want a RGB, not just the R. We'll see that what happens is that color, and sorry, one more thing we have to do, I think, is we have to clamp this. No, we don't. Never mind, that's my bad. And then we can plug this into here. We can see now, once it refreshes, that only the slots turned red. So that's exactly what we want. So let's do the exact same thing for the ball and the spike. So for the ball, we're going to want to do this multiply again, but first we need to multiply the flip of, or the flip. We need the opposite of this basically, right? So let's go 1 minus. So 1 minus will flip this for us. See, flipped it. I'm just gonna minus that again, or shrink it. And then we're going to want to multiply it by this. And that's going to give us the left square, the left top square, and that is our spike. So let's multiply that. So multiply the color, I'll just drag that up here by this, and we get, let's make it green or something, sure. And then we can add this color to this color and plug it in. And you'll see that now the spikes are green, slots are red, everything else is black. So now let's do the same thing for this. This one's actually quite easy. We just take the inverse of this guy. Oops, getting click happy. Multiply. Okay, like that. And then we add this as well. And that should be it. And you can clean this up however you want. Yeah, it gets a little messy. Anywho, let's make this blue, just so we can get a nice, clear understanding of what's happening here. So there you go. We have a completely customizable, as far as color goes anyway, spike ball. So now we got to add the metallic and the smoothness. I think this is important to add, even if it is a stylized game. If you want everything to be, exactly the same, metallic and smoothness, then don't bother. But why not give a little bit of extra options, right? So let's clean this up a little bit first. I'm just going to grab the, well, first of all, we can get rid of some of these larger previews because we already know what's happening. We might need them again anyway, but for now, that's good. Let's just pull these nice and close together. Should be fine. This is the only one that has this right now. Actually, these I'm going to leave out though, and I'll show you why in a sec. So these are the colors. Okay, so this is all, oops, this is all just colors right here. get this a little cleaner. Perfect. So let's grab this and pull this back a bit. So now we're going to deal with the metallic. So metallic is just a 0 to 1 value, and same with smoothness. Um, so really we're doing the same thing, except instead of multiply it by a color, we're going to multiply it by a float. So we're going to call this float. First of all, we're going to give it we're going to call it, give it the type of property. We're going to call it metallic. Okay, so we have this metallic value, and we're actually going to make this a slider. So just going to 0 to 1, give it a min and a max, and it automatically becomes a slider for us, which is pretty cool. And yeah, we basically do the exact same thing. So we're going to say add, right? And we're going to say, so the ball part, so we're going to multiply. Just going to multiply this by this, and we're going to add it to here. And then for the slot, we're going to multiply this. Oh, and we can, sorry, this is my bad. What we really want to do is give a different float for each part of the ball. So this is going to be ball metallic. This is going to be slot metallic. And this is going to be spike metallic. Multiply. We need 3 multiplies here. So the slot metallic, we can see, comes from this, right? We want to grab that same part. And then the spike metallic comes from this bottom guy. So we're going to grab him, put him right over here, and then we're going to throw these into here, and this into here, and then we're going to throw this into metallic. Cool. So let's see what happens here. So we've got all of our properties up in the inspector here. We can grab our metallic. You can see that the slots are changing a bit. We can grab the spike metallic. Pretty cool. And we can grab the ball metallic, of course. Okay, so that gives us kind of a metallic-y look. So we're going to do the exact same thing with smoothness. And then we're done, because I don't think we really want to mess with anything else. So this is all of our metallic properties here. So I'm just going to duplicate all of these. Put them down here. We're going to have an add, of course. Okay, I'm just going to grab these. I'm going to put this all into smoothness. And yeah, so we need to set up 3 more floats. Okay, so first float is ball smoothness. Second float, oops, I don't think I made the first one a property. I'll go back and do that. Slot smoothness property. And another property for this guy, and it's going to be spike smoothness. And I don't think I made this a property. I did not. And then, of course, on all 3 of these, can you edit 3? No, you can't edit multiple ones. We're going to say 0 to 1, 0 to 1, and 0 to 1. And I'm just going to plug these into the multiply. And then we're going to grab those same things. So this one is the spike one, so that's the bottom. This one is the slot one, so that's the middle. And this guy is the ball one, so that's the top. And we're just going to hit apply. So yeah, so we've got smoothness, metallic. Bring these up, and you can see how we get more of a reflection off there. Same with the smoothness of the spikes. You can see that, and the smoothness of the ball itself. So we got tons of options here, and we can change the colors. This is pretty cool. So I think we're pretty close to done there. Show you one more thing. We can go down to the very bottom here, and we can choose, well, first of all, I'm going to rename these. I'm going to say ball color, slot color, and spike color. Uh, one of my favorite parts about exposing these in the inspector is that you can also use scripting to change them. So let's say we had two teams that were throwing spike balls at each other. One team was black, red, and blue. You could literally make every spike ball that spawns for them the same color as their team. You know, little cool things like that. Uh, we can clean this up a little bit too. But yeah, pretty much done. Just gonna hit refresh, and I'm just gonna show you down at the bottom here, we can change this all around. So let's get all the ball stuff together. So ball color, metallic, and smoothness. Grab the slot stuff and the spike stuff right at the bottom there, and just hit refresh. And yeah, check that out. So we got ball color, and then the metallic and smoothness, slot color, metallic and smoothness, spike color, metallic and smoothness, and we're golden. So now we can go ahead and we can duplicate this. If you do any changes with these in real time, like while the game's running in game time, you can change them through script and they'll change independently. But right now we're only using the one material and we're not instancing the materials because that can only happen at runtime. If I change one, the other will also change. But to test things out, what we can do is we can duplicate this material. Man, I don't know why everything's taken so long to, there we go. I can duplicate this material and I can just say spike ball 2, spike ball at symbol, spike ball 2, and I can grab it and put it on this one. And then we can, make these very different colors. Yeah, works great. Pretty cool, pretty cool. Pretty neat, eh? And of course we can mess with the other values, like the metallic smoothness and everything. Make a really smooth ball here. You can see the reflection coming off of it. You can see more reflections in an actual game where you had a reflection probe hitting it. But yeah, that's it. Hope you enjoyed. And yeah, hope you can make use of this. See you later.